Lisette, and welcome to a Proverbs Home. I am so glad that you're here today. Today's title of this video is called Get on the Bus. Get on that bus, and I will let you know what I mean by get on the bus. I hope everybody is doing great. I want to first start by saying thank you. Thank you to my new subscribers who just joined my channel. Thank you for those who have been here, been on this journey, who constantly encourage me and are so kind. Ditto to you. I am very blessed that you are here. And if you're new and you're stopping by, please check that notification bell. So if you like this video, you could get more videos like this. And don't forget to subscribe. And I am so glad to meet you. I'm going to be talking about get on that bus. Okay, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I'm not going to mention the person, the podcast, because I just don't want to draw attention to them and cause a problem. Okay, it wasn't really anything bad, but you know, everybody has difference of opinion, so we'll keep the name of the podcast out and just tell you what I was listening to. And they were talking about how young ladies and men should not go out and work. Like once they hit the working age, their children, they should not go out and work. They should stay home. They should work around the house and the parents pay them. And then later on, when they're married, they go out and work, and the women should never go out and work. And, you know, I was listening to that and I'm thinking, well, that sounds okay. You know, I don't see a problem with that. You know, keeping your young daughters at home, letting them be at home, teaching them the skills they need, that they need to learn to go out into this world. And I'm thinking, that's not a bad thing. But as soon as I thought that, an epiphany clicked. And I thought to myself, well, not everybody is raised that way, for one. Not everybody's parents can afford to pay them to do work around the house. And not everybody lives in a house. Not everybody has a dad. And that just clicked with me. And I was thinking about that. And I was thinking about both sides of the spectrum on this topic, which always seems to be an argument between the traditional wife and the wife that goes out and works. There always seems to be that war. And I was thinking about, like, how can we solve that as women? How can we solve the issue of the women that want to stay home, want to homeschool, want to take care of their families, want to raise a group of children, want to just do that, the biblical woman. And then how do we talk about also the woman on this spectrum that wants to go out and work, that wants to help her husband provide for the family, that has to go out and work? Why is there a constant need for a battle? And that's what I see a lot of, a battle between the traditional women and the women that go out and work. So I was thinking about those two concepts, those two spectrums. I am a conservative, so I'm going to start off with a clean slate. And I am a Christian. I am all for a woman that stays home, raises the children at home, has a husband that works and provides, and the woman stays home, she raises the children, she homeschools them. I think if you can homeschool your children, don't get on me yet. Wait before you click off, before you get angry, please don't. Because you got to hear the rest of this. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I think that's great. My mom did it. Yeah, we went to public school, but I remember my mom working for this small little daycare program, and when I was a little girl that I stayed in, and my mom was there too. Okay, so I remember my mom worked, my dad always worked, you know, so my mom did little odd jobs here and there, but she didn't work consistently. She was more of a homemaker till we were older, and then my mom went and worked with people with special needs, and I remember my mom doing that. But if you could stay home with your kids and they don't have to go out to school and you can teach them at home, I think that's a wonderful life. I think it's an amazing life. It's work, it's a commitment to your family, and God will bless you for that. Now let's go over to the other side. I think if you're a woman and you don't have a husband, maybe your husband passed away. You know, we always want to rag on the men. Oh, they no good, they're not providing, they this and that. Well, I disagree. There are great men out there that I know personally that are great providers for their wives. They work hard and they provide, okay, because there are good men out there. Now, there are men that are very irresponsible, that are out there just womanizing and doing things that God doesn't want them to do. And they have to answer to God for that. There are men that I know that have a bunch of kids and don't provide for any of their kids. Okay, which that's not good either. That's ugly. And the woman has to go out and she has to work. And I think if that woman is working and she's putting her kids through school and she's providing and she's raising her kids up in the Lord and she's teaching them, that is a great thing also. I think we need to be careful when we judge. When we judge one another as women and we don't know each other's stories. Everybody's story is different. Every woman's story is different. Yes, God created us for us to be women that take care of our home, love our husbands, take care of our children. God created us. We're to do that. I believe in the roles as women and men. I don't think either role is degrading. I don't think a man going out working hard, providing for his family, paying the bills, taking care of his family, and a woman that stays home and loves her family, takes care of her children is degrading. I disagree. I think they both roles that God gave us are important. If you read Proverbs 31, which I will not read that right now, but if you read Proverbs 31 and you go through the whole chapter, you will realize this woman managed her home. She managed it. She went out, she traveled, she bought a field, she took care of it. She had maidens and served, people that were in the home. She sold clothes. She did so much. She managed her home. Her husband didn't run the home. We have a great position to be able to manage our home and take care of our home. So it's a blessing that God has given us those responsibilities. It's not degrading. Or if you're a woman that loves your children and takes care of your home, you're nothing. Or that you're not in it because you're not out there busting your chops. Which one is better? You working an 8-10 hour job or being able to be home, having a beautiful home, taking care of your home, going on trips with your children. To me, that's much better to me. Now let's go on the other side to the women that do work. There are women that are working hard, that provide for their children to give them a good life. And they do it, and they're doing it alone. They're doing it on their own. And I admire those women too. I admire both. I think they're both a blessing. They're both a blessing. I know a lady that worked very hard for many years, got her degree, her master's, and took care of her son. And he's a great young man. And she worked hard. We need to be careful, ladies, how we judge one another. We're so easy to pick people apart and judge them. And if you're someone, I just have to get to this too, and you're a young lady and you're not using wisdom in who you're dating, and you're having, look, children are a blessing from God. They are a gift from the Lord that we are to cherish. But if we're making bad decisions and we're not choosing who comes in our home, the right man to be with, waiting till we're married and we're responsible to have children, that's not very wise. Not everybody has grown up behind a white picket fence. Not everybody has grown up where both parents have stayed together, have a lot of money, and can provide. That's sad, but not everyone has grown up like that. And this has been from the beginning of time, if you read the Bible. It talks about the woman at the well. She had 5 husbands. And the one that she was with was not her husband. And that lady felt so much shame because people would talk about her, that when she went to get water at the well, she went when no other women were there. I'm sure they would talk about her, say, look at her. I'm sure she was an outcast. She was a Samaritan. But Jesus went to her. He loved her right at the well. Read that story about the woman at the well. He met her there, and I believe he met her there purposely. So we need to be careful that we don't judge those women too. But at the same time, if you're a young person, woman or male, and you can work, you cannot use your upbringing as an excuse not to do anything with your life. You cannot use your upbringing as an excuse to say, oh, I can't go to work. I can't have a better life for myself. You know, I heard Morgan Freeman one time in an interview, and he said, there is no excuse. Get on the bus. If there's a bus, get on the bus. And I thought that was so funny and true. If there's a bus, get on the bus. Change your life. Give it to God. Do something different with your life. Because you can do it. Whether you come from the projects, whether you come from a farm, wherever you come from. I'll go a little deeper, whether you've been abused or not abused. Wherever you come from in life, you can make a difference. You can do things with your life that nobody thought you could do. Sometimes you might have to change the friends you're hanging out with. Sometimes you might have to let those friendships go. Sometimes you have to go get to church and put God first in your life. And wait before you date. Wait before you date and let God bring you that special someone. And, you know, I've seen this so many times. Young people getting involved in situations, having kids that their parents are raising because they can't afford to raise them. I'm all for children. I'm all for children. They are special. They are a gift from the Lord. But if you have them, make sure that you're responsible to take care of those children, and that we're not just pushing them off on our grandparents. And then when our grandparents try to have a say, when the grandparents try to have a say, we don't want them involved in telling us how to raise our kids. But yet, we're the ones do. The grandparents are the ones that are raising them. You know, we got to be careful with that. Everybody's story is different. We all have a responsibility. It doesn't matter where we come from. And I thought that was not the best idea to not have your grown young adult children work. I think it's healthy to go work. Now, if you could afford to pay their way to life and they just leave the home when they're married, it used to be like that. You left your home when you were getting married. But we're living in a different time where there's a lot of things going on that are not good. And we have to teach our grandchildren, our young adult children, to be able to work, to be able to have skills, whether it's quilting, whether it's cooking. I remember home economics in high school. They taught you how to cook a meal. They taught you how to cook a dessert. They taught you how to sew. They taught you how to do all that. They taught me in high school, besides my parents teaching me. But when I was in school, they taught me how to balance a checkbook, what to wear on a job interview. Those are things they don't teach anymore because the classical education has gone out the window. Okay? And they're teaching kids things that they don't need to learn right now. There's things that kids need to go to school and learn how to read and write and spell and to have an education. We need more Albert Einsteins. We need more Fords. We need more children that are going to go out there, more women, more doctors, more nurses, more firemen and policemen. Where do they come from? They come from our children, how we raise them, what we're teaching them. Not every child's going to go to college. College is a good thing, but let me tell you, college also has its not so good things either, what they're teaching our children. Okay? But not every child is going to go to college. Not every child is meant for college. But why not teach them a skill? Why not teach them to start their own business, how to build their own homes? That's one thing I do have to say. I admire the Amish people. Their kids grow up and they have their own houses. They build them from scratch. They make good money. They take care of their families. And they're not perfect. Amish people are like us. They sin. They fall short of God's glory. Just because you see them riding around in a buggy doesn't mean they're without flaws. Okay, they have flaws too. But I do have to say, I'm around a lot of Amish people. And what I see is that their children are very respectful. I do have to say that. I'm just going to give it the way it is, folks. Got to give it the way it is. I've been on school buses as a bus monitor where I seen in my past the Amish kids get on the bus. We used to pick up Amish kids. And they were quiet and very respectful. And then some of the other kids were not. Very disrespectful to the bus drivers. And I'm not saying Amish people are not without their faults. They are. But where are we losing in our nation? I think our kids need to learn skills, whether they stay home till they get married, which is not a bad thing either. But they also need to learn skills while they're being home. And some of those skills need to be for their life when they go out. Because what if they lose that parent? I have friends that have lost their parents at a very, very young age. And they had to learn different things to be able to survive. Everybody's story is different, but we can all get on the bus. We can all get on the bus. We can all push forward with our lives. We can all make something out of our lives, whether we come from the projects, we come from the ghetto, wherever we're from. It is up to us to trust God and say, God, I know you can do something good with my life. I know I can become someone. We know illnesses come, sickness comes, things that change our lives. There's people that die young because of cancer, or different things do happen. But you know what? If you got all the health in your body, ask God, how can I change? How can I be different from the way I grew up? Maybe you did have parents that were abusive or were no good or never took care of you. Maybe you went through things in your life that you're angry and you're bitter inside, but you can't stay there. You have to get up and you have to push forward and get on that bus. You have to get on that bus and go forward and trust God with your life. You can do something. Look, I became an author. I'm a girl from the Bronx, a Puerto Rican girl from the Bronx. And people love to say, oh, you know, they like to bring up the Hispanic thing. I ain't about that. I ain't about the race thing. It doesn't matter who you are. You could do something great with your life. Yellow, black, or white, we are precious in his sight. Remember that Jesus loves the little children of the world. It doesn't matter who we are. We can do something great with our lives, and we cannot continuously use as an excuse that we can't do it because where we come from. We can't do it because the color of our skin. We got to stop that. Get on the bus. You can do it. You are smart. You are intelligent. It doesn't matter what anybody said about you in your past. You can't live on that and just sit back and do nothing with your life. Whoever this is meant for, this is meant for. They're listening to it. And I had to share this today because when I was hearing this lady saying that, I'm like, yeah, well, that's good. But what if you don't come from that kind of life? What if you don't come from a life where you got everything given to you? What if you're someone that comes from a really bad part of the city? What if you lived in a home that was not conducive? Do you stay there? Do you judge that person that their parents can't afford to give them anything? That's not only in the city, that's in the country, darn it. There are people that live in the country that struggle, that farmers that struggle. Get on the bus. Wherever you're from. I don't care where you're from, what color you are. Do something with your life. Stop watching the media. Shut it off. If you watch the media, you'll keep feeling sorry for yourself. Don't. If you watch that media long enough, I don't care what side you're on, you'll end up feeling sorry for yourself. Shut it off. Make something different. Trust God. Say, no, I want to be a writer. No, I want to go back to school. You know what? No, I want this to be different. I want some skills. I want to learn how to paint. I want to learn how to do something different with my life. Get on the bus. You have a few tokens, get on that bus. Go, you got some money for a cab, get in that cab. Go to that school. Go try to find that job. My first job working with children back in the 90s, I wrote a letter. This was early 90s. I wrote a letter. And I turned it into the managers of the center I was going to work in. They asked me to write a letter. I wanted to work with children so bad. At this time, I did not have a college degree, but I still wanted to work with children. I love children so much, I wanted to work with kids. And I took a step of faith. And I went to this place, and the couple, they were African American. And I wrote a letter. They asked me to write a letter. Very professional, beautiful people. I've never forgotten them. Ever. They were the first ones to give me my start. And they read my letter and they hired me. And I got to work with wives that were actually, their husbands were in the military. And I got to work with all these little kids. And I loved it. I loved it. From a letter that I wrote my heart out. That was the times when you were able to go in a job and you were able to meet the managers face to face. Now, everything's computerized. Send the resume, send this. And I don't like that because you can't meet people face to face. They don't know who you are. Yeah, they read your words, but I like when I like to meet the director face to face. And I remember that was the start. And then from there, my life my life flourished. But what if I would have never took that chance and wrote that letter? What if I was afraid that I didn't have a degree and I would have never took that chance? I would have never stepped in that field. And because I stepped in and I took a faith, a walk of faith, God blessed me in an amazing way. And used that wonderful couple. I'm sure that they're older now. They're probably retired. Okay? But used them to bless my life, and color did not matter. So I think sometimes we can't use that as an excuse, whether you're Puerto Rican, whether you're white, black, yellow, whatever it is. We cannot use that anymore. I'm going to end this video. I can go on for days with this topic. Get on the bus. Don't worry about what people say anymore. Get on that bus and go to work. Go do whatever it is your heart desires that is pleasing to God and make a difference in your life. You want to write, you want to do something great, get a pen and paper. Start with a piece of paper. Get a napkin if you don't have paper and a pen, and sit down and write your feelings down. Write a story that comes to your heart and get on that bus. I hope everybody enjoyed this video today. I'm sorry at the last minute there, I got cut off, but let's just remember to respect each other. Respect the woman that's at home working really hard to take care of her family. And let's also respect the woman that's out there in the field working to take care of her family. God bless you all. Remember, you can do it. You have those goals. You can reach those goals. Don't forget, get on the bus and trust God. I'll talk to everyone soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.